$2.25 billion for Kodiak building partners, and QXO is suddenly claiming a $200 billion addressable market.
Oh, come on. You do not actually believe that TAM math. It is pure banker fiction.
Hey, I used to write that fiction. With billion-dollar mega deals up 319% this year, you have to sell the dream.
I prefer reality. But speaking of dreams, a $44 billion flavor rumor involving Unilever just crossed my desk.
Now that is spicy. Tell me everything. The rundown. 319%. That's the year-over-year jump in deals over $1 billion. The mega deal is completely back.
Analysts are crediting the AI boom and better financing conditions. But I'm looking at these multiples and thinking buyers just got tired of playing it safe.
Bankers need to eat, Maya. But the AI halo effect is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Look at Ecolab. They're dropping $4.75 billion for Cool-It systems.
I actually respect the strategy there. Thermal management for data centers is the shovel in the AI gold rush. But Ecolab is a water and hygiene company. Buying liquid cooling tech is a massive, incredibly expensive pivot.
I'd argue it's just modern plumbing. Legrand is running the exact same playbook. They just scooped up Kodiak in China for server racks and TES in Europe for power distribution. Everyone is scrambling for data center real estate.
Meanwhile, GFL Environmental is just quietly buying up garbage. They grab Frontier Waste Solutions to lock down their southern US roots. No AI buzzwords in that press release. Just trash.
Trash pays. It's the ultimate sticky revenue. Private equity knows it too. HIG Capital just closed on Global Elite Group. They're now the largest pure-play unarmed aviation security provider.
Pure-play unarmed aviation security. That is a hilariously specific niche to dominate.
You own the niche, you own the pricing power. Speaking of drama, did you catch the streaming news? Netflix abruptly walked away from the Warner Bros. Discovery bid.
Oh, come on. You know exactly why. They took one look at that linear TV debt load and ran screaming. So Paramount Skydance actually clinched it.
I would pay so much money to read the Netflix due diligence memos on that balance sheet.
We have to talk about the real blockbuster today, though. QXO just finalized the Kodiak deal for $2.25 billion.
Right, and their debt claims it expands their addressable market to over $200 billion.
I saw that footnote and laughed out loud. $200 billion? We are absolutely tearing that math apart next.
Plus, we have those Unilever and McCormick rumors, a $44.8 billion flavor powerhouse. Let's get into the QXO numbers first. The big one. 319%. That's the year-over-year jump in billion-dollar-plus deals.
It's completely unhinged. We're back in the roaring 20s of M&A.
I feel like a kid in a candy store, honestly. The drought is officially over. Financing conditions thaw out just a tiny bit, the AI hype provides some cover, and suddenly every corporate development team is swinging for the fences.
Well, swinging for something. Let's look at the latest swing. QXO just finalized buying Kodiak Building Partners for $2.25 billion.
Court Square Capital finally gets their exit, and QXO gets to claim their addressable market is now over $200 billion.
Yeah, I read that TAM flex in the press release and almost spit out my coffee. $200 billion? They're acquiring regional building supply companies, Nate. They're selling drywall and lumber, not building a data center on Mars.
Oh, come on, the building product sector is massive. It's incredibly fragmented. QXO is playing the classic aggressive roll-up game here. You buy Kodiak, you get instant scale across multiple geographies, and you broaden your product offerings overnight.
I'm not denying they bought scale, but a $200 billion TAM, that assumes they can sell every single nail to every single contractor in North America. It's pure spreadsheet fantasy. You know exactly the kind of second-year analyst who modeled that out.
Hey, leave the analysts alone. I used to be one, and we were very proud of our optimistic market sizing.
Which is exactly why I don't trust the math. Look, Court Square bought Kodiak years ago. They did the private equity thing. They rolled up a bunch of smaller distributors, squeezed the juice out of the margins, and now they're passing a very expensive, very heavy baton to QXO. I want to know what multiple QXO actually paid because the footnotes were suspiciously quiet on trailing EBITDA.
They're buying market share, Maya. You don't build a national distribution behemoth by nickel and diming the multiples on your anchor assets. It's a massive land grab.
A land grab in a commercial and residential construction market that's currently dealing with wild interest rates. It's a bold move to double down right now.
People still need roofs and rebar, and when the construction cycle turns, QXO is perfectly positioned. You have to respect the conviction.
I'll respect the conviction when I see the synergy realization in their filings next year. Right now, it just looks like they bought a really expensive ticket to the mega deal party because they saw the volume surging and got FOMO.
Your skepticism is relentless. But fine, if you think $2 billion is just a party ticket, let's talk about a deal that would completely break the venue.
You're talking about the Food Whisper Network.
Oh yeah, Unilever and McCormick are apparently deep in talks to combine their food divisions. We're talking about a $44 billion transaction.
44.8 billion, actually. Now that is a number I can really tear apart. Voices.
I just read this note from a major desk claiming transactions over $1 billion are up an astonishing 319% year over year. And of course, the analysts are crediting improved financing conditions and the AI boom.
Oh, come on. You know I hate when they do that.
Do what? Give credit where credit is due?
Slap the letters A and I on a macro trend to make it sound sexy. A 319% jump in mega deals is not just the AI boom. Look at the actual tape.
I am looking at the tape. Tech is a massive driver right now.
Sure, but what else is driving volume? Healthcare. Gilead just paid $2.2 billion for Uro medicines. Novartis just dropped another $2 billion on a drug acquisition. Last I checked, a clinical stage biotech pipeline has absolutely nothing to do with large language models.
Okay, but look at Ecolab dropping $4.75 billion on Coolity Systems. That is pure thermal management for data centers. That is a massive AI infrastructure play hiding in a traditional industrial wrapper.
I will give you Ecolab. That is actually a clever backdoor play into the AI boom, but I still refuse to credit AI for the entire surge in billion-dollar deals.
You cannot ignore the halo effect, Maya. When tech valuations pump, it loosens up the debt markets everywhere. If I were still pitching, I would absolutely put an AI slide in a biotech deck just to see if it lowered my interest rate.
You are exactly what is wrong with Wall Street.
I prefer the term creatively opportunistic. But if you want a mega deal that has absolutely zero AI spin, just check the regulatory wires tomorrow.
Are we finally going to get the official paper on Unilever and McCormick?
Market pressure is mounting. $44.8 billion for a global flavor powerhouse is getting too big to hide, and my phone has not stopped buzzing about it. Spill the tea. Okay, but we have to talk about the spice rack. The whispers coming out of the food sector right now are absolutely wild.
You mean the Unilever and McCormick rumor? $44.8 billion. I saw the leak this morning and immediately started looking for the catch.
There is no catch, Maya. It's a masterstroke. They're talking about combining their food divisions to create a $20 billion global flavor powerhouse. Think about the shelf space. It's a grocery store monopoly.
I'm looking at the logistics, Nate, and it's a nightmare. Unilever has been trying to figure out its food strategy for years, carving that out and mashing it into McCormick. You're talking about a massive culture clash. You can't just blend mayo and Old Bay and call it synergy.
Excuse me, mayo and Old Bay is a fantastic combination. But seriously, the financing conditions right now are practically begging for this. Mega deals over $1 billion are up 319% year over year, 319. The market is drunk on cheap debt again.
Which explains the other piece of drama. Netflix abruptly pulling out of the Warner Bros. Discovery bidding war.
Right? Netflix just ghosted them, leaving Paramount Skydance to clinch the deal. I would pay real money to read the emails between the Skydance bankers when Netflix walked away. Total panic mixed with sheer joy.
Netflix walking away is the smartest move I've seen all week. They looked at the balance sheet, realized it was a toxic asset, and quietly backed out the side door while Paramount was busy popping champagne.
You're so cynical. Paramount gets the IP, they win the war.
They won a war of attrition, Nate. Congratulations, you bought a melting ice cube.
We'll see if the market agrees tomorrow. We're supposed to be watching the regulatory wires for a definitive agreement on that Unilever McCormick mega merger. But while we wait for the spice giants to make it official, let's look at someone who actually closed their deal. QXO just finalized their $2.25 billion Kodiak grab.
And the footnotes on that one are fascinating. Tomorrow's radar.
I'm refreshing the regulatory wires all day tomorrow, waiting for Unilever and McCormick to finally drop the paperwork. $44.8 billion, a $20 billion flavor powerhouse.
You're obsessed with this flavor spin-out, but I'm telling you, it doesn't get signed tomorrow. The market pressure is totally artificial.
Oh, come on. When mega deals over $1 billion are up 319% this year, you don't sit on a merger like this. The financing is there.
Sure, but Unilever moves like molasses. If you want actual news tomorrow, watch the Irish antitrust wires for Mitsubishi Electric.
Wait, really? Elevators? You're picking Irish elevators over a $45 billion mayo and spices empire?
Infinity Lifts is a great target, and it's actually slated to close in the first half of the year, unlike your flavor powerhouse.
I'll bet you a steak dinner we see Unilever paper by Friday.
Make it sushi and you're on. We'll see who goes hungry next week.